Most people have no idea where they stand financially. They think they are doing okay until they see the numbers. Today, we are going to walk through 8 different savings levels, starting from absolute zero all the way up to $1 million. And at each level, we're going to show you exactly what your life looks like, your stress, your options, your freedom, and your future. Whether you are at the bottom or somewhere in the middle, this video will show you exactly what is possible and what you need to do next. Let us get started. If you have $0 saved, you are not alone. According to recent data, nearly 57% of Americans cannot cover an unexpected $1,000 expense from their savings. That means more than half of the country is living at this exact level right now. So what does life look like at zero? Every single paycheck goes out as fast as it comes in. You are one bad day away from a crisis. A flat tire, a medical bill, a broken phone, any one of these things can send you into debt immediately. You are not building anything, you are surviving. When you have nothing saved, your brain is in a constant low-level state of anxiety. Psychologists call this the financial scarcity mindset, and research shows it actually reduces your cognitive function. You are literally less able to make good decisions when you are financially stressed. Because of this stress, you cannot quit a job you hate. You have no cushion. You cannot take advantage of a sale or a deal because your cash is already gone. You cannot handle emergencies without borrowing money from someone else. So what should you do right now if you are at this level? Your only goal at zero is to get to $1,000. That's it. Nothing else matters right now. Open a separate savings account, not your checking account, and automate a transfer of even $25 or $50 per week. Make it automatic so you never see it and never miss it. In 6 to 12 months, you will be at the next level, $1,000. This sounds like a small number, but psychologically, it is one of the most important milestones you will ever hit. You now have a starter emergency fund. A flat tire does not destroy you anymore. A minor medical expense does not send you to a payday lender. You have just enough of a cushion to breathe. Research from the Urban Institute found that people with even $250 to $749 in liquid savings are far less likely to experience financial hardship than those with nothing, and $1,000 takes you well past that point. There's a small but real shift in your mental state when you reach this level. You stop panicking at every unexpected expense. You start feeling like you have just a tiny bit of control over your situation. But here's what you still cannot do at $1,000. You still cannot handle a major emergency, a job loss, a hospital visit, or a car transmission failure. You are still one serious problem away from being wiped out completely, and you haven't started investing yet. Your money is sitting completely still. So what should you focus on at this level? Now you push to 3 months of expenses. If your monthly expenses are $2,000, your target is $6,000. This is your real emergency fund, and it will take your stress level down significantly. Keep automating your savings every single week. Keep your savings account completely separate from your spending account, and do not touch it unless it's a true emergency. Level 3, $5,000 in savings. $5,000 is where something very important starts to happen. You now likely have 2 to 3 months of basic expenses fully covered. You are officially out of the one bad day ruins everything category. For the first time in your financial life, you have real options. You can take a calculated risk, maybe apply for a better job, negotiate your salary, or say no to something that doesn't serve you. You also now have enough to start thinking seriously about investing. Many brokerages have no minimum deposit requirement at all. You could start a Roth IRA or an index fund portfolio with even $500 right now. At $5,000, most people make one of 2 choices. Either they start to invest the excess, or they start to inflate their lifestyle and spend more. The people who reach the higher levels are the ones who start investing here. So what should you do at this level? Split your financial focus into two separate buckets.
Keep 3 to 6 months of expenses in a high-yield savings account, earning real interest, and put everything extra into investments, ideally low-cost index funds, inside a tax-advantaged account like a Roth IRA or a 401k. Here is why this matters so much. The money you invest at this stage has decades to compound and grow. Even $200 per month at 8% annual returns grows to over $700,000 in 40 years. Let that number sink in. $10,000. This is a real milestone. You have crossed a psychological and practical threshold that separates the people who are building wealth from the people who are still struggling. At this level, most people have a full 3 to 6 month emergency fund and some money already invested. Your financial foundation is now solid. You now have the ability to make major life decisions from a position of strength. You can handle a job loss without panic. You can cover most medical emergencies without going into debt. You can take a calculated career risk that you never could have taken before. Studies consistently show that once people reach this level, their relationship with money fundamentally changes. The anxiety reduces dramatically. Decision-making improves. You stop making expensive short-term choices just to survive. But here is the danger zone at $10,000. This is where lifestyle inflation hits hardest. You finally feel financially stable, and the temptation to upgrade your car, your apartment, or your spending is enormous. The people who get stuck at $10,000 forever are the ones who let their lifestyle match their income instead of letting their wealth grow. So what should you focus on here? Make sure your emergency fund is fully funded first. Then aggressively invest the rest of your money. If you are not maxing out your 401k up to your employer match, that's free money you are leaving on the table every single month. Do that first. Then consider contributing to a Roth IRA. Then open a taxable brokerage account for additional investing. At this stage, the goal is to make your money work harder than you do. $50,000. If you have reached this level, you are ahead of the vast majority of people in your country. According to the Federal Reserve's Survey of Consumer Finances, the median American under 35 has less than $14,000 in total assets, including investments. You are not average anymore. Your emergency fund is fully funded and sitting in a high-yield savings account, earning real interest. You have money invested, possibly in index funds, a Roth IRA, or your company's 401k. You are starting to see your money grow on its own. Compound interest is beginning to work seriously in your favor. You have options that most people simply do not have. You can afford to take career risks. You can take a month off if you truly needed to. You can make a calculated move, like starting a side business or going back to school, without catastrophic financial consequences. Now let's talk about the compounding effect at this level. At $50,000 invested at 8% annual returns, you are earning roughly $4,000 per year just from your money sitting there. That's $4,000 you did not have to work a single hour for. So what should you be focused on at this level? Protect your lifestyle from inflating as your income grows. Increase your savings rate whenever you get a raise or a bonus. Look into tax optimization. Are you maxing your Roth IRA? Are you taking full advantage of your HSA if you have access to one? Are you minimizing fees in your investment accounts? At $50,000, the difference between a 0.5% expense ratio and a 0.05% expense ratio in your investments can cost you tens of thousands of dollars over the coming decades. The details start to matter enormously at this level. $100,000. This is the level that completely changes the trajectory of your financial life, and most people who reach it describe it as the moment everything finally clicked for them. Here is why $100,000 is the most powerful milestone in personal finance. At 8% annual returns, $100,000 grows to $216,000 in 10 years without you contributing a single additional dollar. The math of compounding becomes completely undeniable at this level. Your money is now generating serious returns entirely on its own. For many people, this is the first time they truly feel like they are building lasting generational wealth. Financial stress is largely gone at this level. You have full optionality, the ability to make life decisions based on what you want, not just what you can afford. You can negotiate your salary more confidently because you have a real cushion behind you. You can leave a toxic job without panic. You can take calculated investment risks with a portion of your portfolio. At this level, most serious investors start diversifying more intentionally. Maybe you begin to consider real estate as an additional asset class. Maybe you look at dividend income strategies to create passive cash flow.
Maybe you start thinking about tax loss harvesting to reduce your tax bill. The decisions you make between 100,000 and 500,000 will define how fast you reach the next level. So what should you focus on? Keep your savings rate high and consistent. Automate everything you possibly can. Review your asset allocation at least once a year. Make sure you are not holding too much cash because inflation slowly erodes your purchasing power every single year. And resist the urge to make dramatic investment moves. Boring and consistent wins this game every single time. $500,000. At this level, you have crossed into territory that fewer than 15% of Americans ever reach in their lifetime. Your investments are now generating between $25,000 and $40,000 per year at average market returns, without you doing a single thing. For many people, that covers a significant portion of their annual living expenses all on its own. You are approaching what financial experts call Coast FI. That is the point at which you have enough invested that even if you never contributed another dollar, compound growth alone would take you to full financial independence by retirement age. At $500,000, your job becomes optional in a way it never was before. You may still choose to work for purpose, structure, social connection, or additional income, but the financial pressure behind every decision is fundamentally different now. You can afford to be picky about the work you do. You can walk away from things that do not serve your long-term goals. You can take a sabbatical if you need one. You can make a major career pivot without financial catastrophe. But here's what most people at this level get wrong. The biggest mistake at 500,000 is becoming too conservative too early. Many people at this level get scared and move their money into low-risk assets, bonds, CDs, high-yield savings accounts. But if you're still 20 or 30 years from retirement, that's an extremely costly mistake. Keep the majority of your portfolio in growth assets. Time is still your most powerful financial tool at this level. What should you focus on here? At $500,000, financial planning becomes more sophisticated. Consider working with a fee-only fiduciary financial advisor, someone who is legally required to act in your interest and not earn commissions from your decisions. Tax optimization becomes critically important at this level. Estate planning also becomes relevant, making sure your assets go where you intend them to go. $1 million, the number that most people think of as the definition of being wealthy. And while $1 million today is not what it once was, it's still a profoundly life-changing level of savings. Using the 4% safe withdrawal rule, a guideline developed from decades of research on sustainable portfolio withdrawals, a $1 million portfolio can generate $40,000 per year indefinitely. That means if your annual expenses are at or below $40,000, you are financially independent. You no longer need to work for money. You work because you choose to. People who reach this level consistently describe the feeling the same way. Not flashy cars, not a private jet. Peace. The absence of financial anxiety. The freedom to spend their time however they want. The ability to give generously to others without any fear. Now, here's the truth about millionaires that most people get wrong. Research consistently shows that most millionaires did not win the lottery or inherit money. The majority reached this level through decades of consistent saving and investing. They kept their expenses reasonable, they avoided lifestyle inflation, and they let compound interest do the heavy lifting over time. The average millionaire hits this milestone in their mid to late 50s, but people who start early and stay consistent can reach it in their 30s and 40s. And the game doesn't end here. Many people continue to grow their wealth well beyond $1 million. But for most people, $1 million represents true financial freedom, the point where work becomes a choice, not a requirement. So there you have it. 8 levels of savings and 8 completely different versions of your life. The difference between where you are now and where you want to be is not luck. It's not income alone. It's the decisions you make consistently over time that no one else sees. Automate your savings, keep your expenses reasonable, invest early and stay invested, and be patient because the math always works if you give it enough time. If this video helped you understand where you stand, and more importantly, what to do next, make sure you subscribe. We break down personal finance in a way that's clear, honest, and actually actionable. And in the comments below, tell me what savings level you were at right now. No judgment, just a community of people working toward the same goal. See you in the next one.